You buy strawberries on Monday. By Wednesday, they're soft and growing white fuzz. You buy a bag of apples, cut one open for your kids, walk away for 20 minutes, and come back to find it already browning on the plate. You spend $6, $8, $10 on fresh fruit, and within 2 to 3 days, you're throwing half of it in the trash. Sound familiar? Now, what if I told you there is a white powder, one that costs about $1 and fits in the palm of your hand, that can extend the life of almost any fruit by days, sometimes weeks, using the exact same science that the food industry has used quietly for over a century? What if the grocery store near you already knows about it because they use a version of it in their packaging, but nobody ever told you that you could do the same thing at home for almost nothing? Today, we are cracking this open. And by the end of this video, you are going to look at your fruit drawer completely differently.
Let's start with the problem, because the numbers here are honestly shocking. The USDA estimates that supermarkets in the United States lose $15 billion every single year in unsold fruits and vegetables alone. $15 billion, just in produce that goes bad before anyone buys it. But that number is actually the smaller part of the story, because the real waste happens after you've already paid for it. According to the EPA, American homes throw away an estimated 100 billion pounds of food every year, and fruits and vegetables are the most commonly wasted category. The average American family of 4 throws out roughly $1,500 worth of food annually. Most of that is fresh produce. Most of that is fruit. And most of that rot happens not because people are careless, but because nobody taught them how to slow it down.
So what actually makes fruit go bad? There are 2 main enemies. The first is oxidation. When you cut fruit, or even when fruit is just sitting exposed to air, oxygen reacts with enzymes inside the fruit cells and causes browning. That's what's happening when your apple slice turns brown, or your strawberry goes mushy and loses its color. It's not spoilage in the traditional sense. It's a chemical reaction triggered by contact with oxygen. The second enemy is microbial growth, mold, yeast, bacteria that colonize the surface of the fruit and start breaking it down. Both of these processes happen simultaneously, and both of them are dramatically accelerated once fruit is cut, bruised, or stored incorrectly. Here's the key insight. Both of these processes are pH sensitive. They slow down significantly in an acidic environment. And that is exactly where our $1 powder comes in. The powder is citric acid. You've heard the name, but I want to be very clear. I am not talking about a chemical compound from a lab. Citric acid is the molecule that makes lemons sour. It's in every orange, every lime, every grapefruit, every berry. It is already inside most of the fruit you eat. Your body produces it as part of normal metabolism. It is on the FDA's GRAS list, generally recognized as safe, and has been used in food preservation, canning, and commercial food processing for well over 100 years. It is one of the most studied, most proven, and most widely used food-safe compounds in history. And you can buy a bag of food-grade citric acid powder at Walmart for around $3. That bag will last you months of fruit preservation.
Here's how it works scientifically. When you dissolve citric acid in water and expose fruit to it, 2 things happen. First, the acid lowers the pH on the surface of the fruit. It creates a mildly acidic environment where the enzymes responsible for browning can't function properly. Polyphenol oxidase, the specific enzyme that causes that ugly brown color on apples, avocados, and bananas, is dramatically slowed by acidity. Second, the acidic environment makes it extremely difficult for mold and bacteria to colonize. Most microorganisms that rot fruit thrive in a neutral pH environment. Drop that pH, and their growth rate collapses. A published study in the journal Food Science and Nutrition found that citric acid treatment was significantly effective at maintaining fruit firmness and inhibiting decay. This isn't folklore, it's documented food science. Now, let me give you the exact method, because how you use it matters. For whole fruit in the fridge, strawberries, grapes, cherries, blueberries, dissolve 1 tablespoon of citric acid powder in 1 gallon of cold water.
Soak the fruit in this solution for about 2 minutes. Remove it, drain it gently, let it air dry or pat dry, and store it in the fridge as usual. That's it. This single step can extend the life of strawberries from 3 days to 10 or even 14 days. Grapes that normally turn shriveled and mushy within a week will stay plump and firm for 2 weeks or longer. Blueberries that usually turn soft and watery within 4 or 5 days will hold their shape and flavor significantly longer. For cut fruit, sliced apples, pears, peaches, avocado, mango, the method is slightly different. Dissolve 1/8 of a teaspoon of citric acid in 3 cups of water. Dip your sliced fruit in this solution for 30 seconds to 1 minute. Remove it and pat dry. This prevents browning for hours, not the 20 minutes you normally get before the slice turns tan and unappetizing. The food industry has known this for decades. Ball, the canning company, literally sells a product called Fruit Fresh, which is primarily citric acid, specifically for this purpose. It's on shelves right next to the mason jars. But here's the thing. Why would they advertise that you can make the exact same solution at home for a fraction of the price? They wouldn't, so they don't. Let's zoom out and talk about the industry angle here, because this is where the story gets much bigger. The global food preservatives market, the industry that sells preservative compounds to food manufacturers, was valued at over $3.3 billion in 2024 and is on track to hit nearly $5 billion by 2030. Think about the business model for a moment. A grocery store makes money in 2 ways from fruit. They sell it to you, and when you throw away the stuff that went bad, you come back and buy more. A shopper who extends their fruit's life by 10 days buys fresh fruit less frequently. That's fewer transactions, fewer impulse purchases, less revenue per customer visit. This is not a conspiracy. It is just economics. The system is not designed to teach you efficiency. It is designed to maximize your spending. And the people who benefit most from you not knowing about citric acid are every party in the supply chain between the farm and your refrigerator. Now, I want to give you something extra, because this goes beyond just soaking fruit in citric acid water. There are several other applications of this same principle that most people have never connected. If you've ever wondered why your grocery store's pre-cut fruit, the kind sold in those plastic containers, stays looking fresh and barely brown for days, now you know. They dip it in an acidic solution before packaging. You can do this at home every time you prep fruit for the week. Batch your fruit prep on Sunday, dip everything, let it dry, store in airtight containers, and you have fresh-looking, fresh-tasting fruit ready to go for the entire work week. No more throwing away half a melon because nobody got around to eating it. Here's another one. Avocados. The #1 food that people buy, cut open, use half of, and watch turn brown and gross before they can finish the other half. Standard advice is to leave the pit in, squeeze lemon juice on it, cover with plastic wrap. Lemon juice works because, you guessed it, it contains citric acid. But lemon juice has a strong flavor, it's inconsistent in concentration, and you don't always have a fresh lemon on hand. A tiny bit of citric acid powder dissolved in water, brushed onto the cut surface of an avocado, does the same job with no flavor alteration. The avocado half stays green. You put it in the fridge cut side down in a container, and it looks almost exactly the same 2 days later. Berries specifically deserve their own mention because they are the most purchased and most wasted fruit in American households. Strawberries have one of the shortest shelf lives of any fruit you can buy, typically 3 to 5 days from purchase before they start going mushy and moldy. The commercial strawberry industry actually uses citric acid-based washes during processing and packaging for exactly this reason. A study published in a Chinese patent on strawberry preservation found that combining citric acid treatment with proper temperature control extended the fresh-keeping period dramatically, reducing the decay rate compared to untreated fruit. You are buying fruit that was already treated with this science before it reached you. The treatment just wears off. Refreshing it at home extends the effect. Let me also be honest about the limits here, because I want to give you real information, not magic. Citric acid is not a time machine. It slows decay. It does not stop it.
Fruit that is already overripe or damaged will not be rescued by citric acid treatment. You need to start with fruit that is fresh and in good condition. The treatment works best as a preventive measure, not a cure. Also, the soaking method works better for whole fruit than for very delicate items like raspberries, which can absorb water and go mushy if soaked too long. For raspberries, a lighter misting of citric acid solution, not a soak, works better. And for all fruit, drying after the treatment is important. Wet fruit in the fridge grows mold faster, not slower. The acid does the work. Moisture is still the enemy.
Here is the bigger picture point I want you to walk away with. We live in a food system designed around waste. Not intentionally, not because someone in a boardroom decided people should throw away $1,500 of groceries every year, but structurally. The grocery store model, the packaging model, the marketing model, none of them are optimized to minimize your household food waste. They are optimized to maximize your purchases. The knowledge that would most directly help you, like the fact that a $3 bag of citric acid powder can dramatically cut your fruit waste and save you hundreds of dollars a year, is not hidden exactly. It's just not promoted. It lives in food science journals, canning communities, and the ingredient lists on the back of products you've been buying for years without reading them.
So here is your action step. Next time you do grocery shopping, find the canning aisle. Look for citric acid powder. It's usually sold under the Ball brand or as a generic food-grade powder. Buy it. When you get home and unpack your fruit, make a quick solution, 1 tablespoon per gallon of cold water, and soak your berries, grapes, or any whole fruit for 2 minutes before refrigerating. Do the same with your cut fruit using the lighter dilution. Track how long your fruit lasts this week compared to usual. I promise you it will be noticeably different. Then share this video, because somebody in your life is throwing away expensive fruit every single week, and they deserve to know this too. See you in the next one.